My dad pulled a gun on my husband. Last night, my parents arrived from out of town to celebrate my 7-year-old birthday. My dad drove me, my mom, and my child to dinner. We decided to try another restaurant after cruising through our first option's busy parking lot. I gave my dad directions and he began to argue with me, determined he knew his way around better than the person living there. He then began driving erratically and I asked him to bring us home. He wouldn't and continued to the next restaurant. I said to bring us home again, but he again refused. I texted my husband asking for a ride home and finally my dad agreed to take us back. He told me he was going to punch me in the face. My child began crying and screaming while my dad continued berating me through my pleads to stop doing this in front of her. Upon arriving home, my husband was in the kitchen, words were exchanged, and my dad told my husband he was going to kick his ass. In our own home, a scuffle broke out and my husband ended up landing a punch to the side of my dad's face, which knocked my dad to the ground. My dad then stood up. At this point, I was walking into the house with my mom and child steps behind. I screamed upon seeing the blood from my dad's face. He then pulled a gun and aimed it at my husband's chest. Needless to say, my parents picked me up to make the multiple-hour return trip home. I'm done with any sort of relationship with my parents, but I grieve the loss of having parents and my child having that grandparent relationship.